Hey everybody, Jess Intuitive Angel Healer here with your Grounded. Thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to another episode of Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs for Change Weekly Spotlight. And this is episode number 4. And we have Dawn Marcotte,
Marcotte. Mm-hmm.
and she is from DM Consulting. Hi, how are you doing,
Hey,
Dawn?
everybody. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
I am excited to have you here because the fun thing about Facebook is that I think a lot of us don't realize how many of us are following each other's journey and we don't even realize it. So when we're having that bad moment, nobody likes me and nobody likes my stuff. And it's funny because I have that moment and then I go back and look and I'm like, have to think about it. And I'm like, there are people following my stuff. They're just in the background and they're doing their own thing. And then they feel bad if they saw my post go by and didn't like something. So
Yeah, yeah.
that is why I brought you on, because I share a woman's group with you. I think that's how I
Yep.
have came across you. And there's some people I just see posting all the time because they're working on their stuff, and you are just such an inspiration. And you're not in just one group, you have your own group, and
Yep.
you were noticeable in a lot of different groups. So I'm going to
Oh,
hand it
thank
over to you,
you.
and
That is
you're
so
welcome.
sweet. Thank you. I
I want you to
appreciate
know
that.
that you're making an impact, because sometimes we live in such a social media world that we want instant validation. We expect that right now, or we didn't do a good job. And I'm here to tell you, you're doing an amazing job. Sometimes it's kind of like being an artist. You don't see the fruits of your labor right away, but you are. I know we're going to be seeing you soon, and it just takes one person. So I'm going to go
Oh.
ahead and hand it over to you, Dawn. Tell us where you're from, your age, and a little bit about your business.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so sweet. Well, again, Dawn Marcotte, and I live in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. So wintertime. Yay.
I
Sorry.
have been I have been there before, and I went door to door in when I was younger, and I learned not to cut yards because I
No.
literally went up to a foot of snow. My knees, I was like, well, I'm
Yep.
not cutting any more yards.
Yep, it's so true. So yeah, and it's funny because I have two children and two girls, and when they were little, winter was fun because we'd go outside and play, go sleigh, whatever. And now they're adults, and now it's just back to I hate driving in the snow.
Yes.
But anyway, so I live in Minnesota, and I started my business, DM Consulting, actually in July of 2020. As many of us, I've had a corporate job. I've been in the corporate world for, gosh, I don't know, 25, 30 years. I'm in my 50s. So I got laid off due to COVID. And I'm not somebody that just sits very well. I needed something to do. And I've actually been a freelance writer for the past, I don't know, 12, 15 years. But that was just kind of a side business. I love to write. That was my retirement career, something I could just do on the side. And then when I did retire, hey, here's this thing I've been doing, and I can write books and make money and whatever, right? And travel extensively. Didn't quite work out that way, obviously. COVID hit, I got laid off. So I decided that what I really want to do is help other women specifically build their own businesses. Because I've been doing this for such a long time, kind of on the side, I have all these years of just stuff you learn as you go along. And I thought, you know what? I see so many women who are in the same position, got laid off, got to provide for our families, who have decided to start businesses and kind of go, don't know what to do, don't know where to start. So I thought, well, I can help with that. So that's what I did is I started, like you mentioned, I've got my own Facebook group. So I started that.
And that's right here.
Yes,
Anybody
thank
looking?
you.
Women's
Thank you
coaches,
very much.
consultants?
I would love to have people join it. It's such a fun group. I really enjoyed it. But you're right. You know what you said earlier about you could do all these things online and it just feels like you're speaking into nothingness because you're not getting feedback, nothing's happening, whatever. So I really enjoy the group because I've got a couple of pretty active people in it. And I've done a number of those free challenge training things, right? And I've gotten some good feedback there. So that's just been a lot of fun to do. I've really enjoyed getting to know people, and just, I love that aha moment when people they're doing their thing, they're, marketing on social media, and they're not getting anything, and it's not happening for them. And I say, hey, why don't you try this? Tweak it just a little bit, try this. And it works. And just that, oh my gosh, that's awesome, right? Because I have a coach too, and she's done the same thing for me. Well, where she'll say, well, just try it and tweak and do this thing on Facebook, and you'll get lots of new followers. And by golly, it worked. I was just like, how did I not know that? That's fantastic. So yeah,
that is awesome, because that is totally why I have this podcast right here. This podcast page is to encompass all of my podcasts, because I'm too eclectic to just go out there and make myself. I thought I was going to make myself one. I made myself two. Now I have 5 different series. So I'm like, okay, I better just make one podcast, which is Spoken Like an Angel, and I'll put them all on there. And that is amazing that you help women, because I love doing that. That is my favoriteest thing. And I know that's not a word, guys, but I am making up stuff today. But I am working with a client right now who she's never been a motivational speaker per se, but she has all the talent. And when she talks, there's such passion in what she's talking. She doesn't have to research it. And all I know is that she needed just a little help on optimizing, hashtags, stuff like that. And I got it all set up, and it's like crazy, the amount of instant, like everybody wanted, and it made me feel so good that I just did a few things like cosmetically. I didn't do anything really spectacular except make some pictures and and words and things, but it's so amazing how that works. How much that helps people. Yeah. And we have Talk Truth series. She said, hey, ladies, take advice and encouragement. And this is one of my podcast friends. Hey, and Genesis out there, she's one of my other podcaster friends, and she wrote Chocolate Drop in America book. So you'll have a few people dropping in to say hi to you, and maybe some new people for your group. Now,
yeah, I hope so.
So a lot of people created their businesses during COVID, and I know that is awesome that you did it. What kind of change does DM consulting bring?
Well, the thing that I have that maybe a lot of other people don't is the corporate background. The corporations that I worked for, GM, GE, big corporations, right? And they have this mindset of creating processes and then improving those processes, monitoring them and improving them, process improvement. And I've been trained pretty extensively in that. So I bring that to an entrepreneurial where I find there's a lot of people who just kind of do a shotgun approach. They just try a little bit of everything, but don't necessarily pay attention to what's working and what's not. And then they get frustrated because they're busy all the time doing all this stuff, but they're not getting clients. They're not converting. They're not growing their business, and they can't figure out why. So I kind of bring that mindset of, okay, you need to have not only a plan for marketing, we'll just use that as an example, but you need to monitor it. You need to have a plan that says, hey, you know what? And this is me, this is personal experience. I'm in these 60 Facebook groups. Anybody listening? Right? Is anybody responding? I'm doing all this stuff because I'm the kind of person, if I'm in a Facebook group, right, I want to participate. I want to post. I want to, have conversations, that kind of thing. And 60 was way too much. So what I had to do is look at each group and go, okay, when I post in there, first of all, are the posts approved? Oh, okay, here's 6 groups where they never approved my post. Why am I bothering? But if I hadn't actually gone through and looked at each of them, I would never have known that. So it's that kind of process where I let's make sure we're looking at what you're doing and the results it's bringing. So
Yes. And I always say work smarter, not harder. And
Exactly.
I know how, it's funny. I know how to do all the coaching stuff. Like that was never a problem. I didn't, I've been making collages and picture collages for all my life. So I was like, hooray, I can get paid to make these. This is awesome. But
Yeah.
I notice, and this is my biggest thing, my biggest pet peeve with the coaching industry is that I've been really literally knowing about the coaching business since the 90s, since it hit Oprah, okay?
Okay.
Because I wanted to be a life coach.
Okay.
But in my world, I grew up in Texas and
Okay.
I had my spiritual awakening in 2017 because my mindset was very narrow and I was always told to we always made fun of like hippies and stuff
Yeah.
because we're like, oh, they're, not a bad way, but just like
Right.
I always never approved of them until now I've fallen in and I'm like, hey, I want to be a life coach. And that's how my spiritual awakening happened is I was like, I want to be a life coach. Is that still a thing? And I was like, holy crap, it is still a thing.
It's a
Because
big
it
thing.
wasn't a
Yeah.
thing. This was in 2017 and it still wasn't that big of a thing.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, that's how I found it out. There's angelic coaching. And I was like, how about that? Because I'm an angel intuitive and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh.
But all these people come on and they try to tell you my point to the story. I'm long winded.
That's all right.
But my point to the story is that you come out here. I already have experience. I've been a medical assistant. I've went to school to be an administrator. I've almost got my bachelor's in it.
Oh.
When you come on, you get all these coaches that have money and they have a lot of people that they know. Okay. So if you're wondering why they have 20,000 people, well, there's one. They just went through their friends list and and that's how they built up their Instagram page. I'm going to break the veil down for you guys so you stop thinking, oh my God, why can't I be like this person?
Yes.
And second of all, there is nothing in the history in the world, and anybody can drop on and talk to me about this, but when I first came and started coaching, it was exhausting. I was told that I have to do 9,000 lives and I have to do this. And I tried all of it because you always try all of it. And
Right.
then at some point, because I'm an empath, because this is what the problem is. If you're a hard-nosed business lady that's not an empath and has a brick wall that can deflect anything, then yes, you can do all that and have fun. But when you're a spiritual empath, it is draining. I
Yeah.
have a client sometimes and I'll be down for a week and when I was new, I was still learning how to put up all my boundaries and stuff. So I'm just taking in all this negative, nasty energy from people.
Yes.
And then I'm being told on the counter end, because we tend to look in this little box of, okay, ladies, where's your challenge? You need a 3-day challenge. You need a
Yeah, you
five
gotta
live
do these
week. And
things.
I was like, well, I'm done coaching. I'm done.
Yep, yep. In fact, I have gotten so frustrated with the culture right now. I'm actually writing a book right now, all about trying to, like you said, pull back the veil and talk about all things like, you see, like you said, there's this woman that I follow online and in a Facebook, and she's got 20,000 people in her Facebook group, right? And she's coaching about all this stuff that she coaches about, which is fine because it works for her.
Yes.
But it doesn't work for everybody. And that's the
Yes.
thing I think so many new entrepreneurs don't get. Just because you see that famous person over there doing it doesn't mean it's the right thing for you or your business.
Yes.
You have to figure out what works for you, or you're just, like you said, you're going to burn out, you're going to get overwhelmed, and you're going to give up. You have to be true to who you are. And it's fine to try things. Like you said, you never know. It might work for you. Go ahead and try it for a month, but pay attention. Is it working? How does it make you feel? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Can you keep doing that? I mean, when I first started DM consulting, I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do. So I thought, well, you know what? I've got all this experience on social media marketing. I'll do that for people for a while. I got one client. I did it for 1 month and went, nope. Not who I am. I don't want to do this anymore. Thank you very much. It's been a great experience. Bye. And that was it, and they were great because I was honest with them. They were honest with me and it was fine. We ended on a great note. We're still friends, But it was one of those, oh, this is kind of fun when I'm doing it on my own for 5 or 10 minutes a day, but 8 hours a day, no, not my thing.
Yes.
Right?
And it's all about being authentic too, because like I said, I'm a spiritual grounding coach. But when I came out, because I don't know if it's just my personality, Pisces get really excited in their head about all this stuff. And then we
Yep.
expect this fandom and all these glowing lights when we finally present our thing. And I told everyone, hey, I'm an angel intuitive. I've got my own coaching business. I'm going to do like life coaching, but I'm going to read oracle cards.
Okay.
And I was not perceived well. And I was like,
Yeah,
why? I've got
right?
all this good, and you're crying about your life and I can fix it. I've got the answer. And so I came out, and it's funny because I suffered from imposter syndrome, and
Yeah.
I did the whole, I started out as something diva. I can't even remember, transformation diva, because I
Okay.
was trying to be in mainstream.
Yep.
And my angels let me have it for a little bit. And the last year, because I established mine in 2018, my
Okay.
business.
Okay.
And you go through all these weird things in your business. And it's
Yep.
funny, I started out that way. And because, it's fun starting a business and having a spiritual awakening, because now I just had a damn identity crisis. And I'm like, I don't know. I just know that I want to help people. And I finally sorted it out and did all my process. And now I'm here to tell you that if you don't follow your authentic self, guess what? You may fit in for a second. You may get all those likes for a minute, but then you're going to feel very unsatisfied. Fast forward a couple years. So when
Yep.
you're making your decisions, my thing is, if always do it for your people, because
Mhm.
even when I do podcasts, I don't want to go if it's, say, a bunch of automotive people watching the podcast. What the hell do they want to hear about a spiritual grounding coach?
Right.
Why do we keep putting ourselves out there? And I'm sure you know that because you're in some podcasting groups.
Yeah.
What would you say for advice for women who are going out there and they're in the rat race and they're competing, not getting any results, but they're still putting themselves out there and they're not stopping to think, hey, maybe there's always somebody for everybody. There's an audience for everyone. And even if you're a weirdo and like you really like some strange off the wall stuff, you're going to have your people. You may not have a whole bunch, but I always say quality is always better than quantity.
Right. And I think we get so caught up in the numbers, and the culture is, we see all these people with these big followings and we think that has to be us. But let's be real for a minute. If you were in a live situation and you had a room with 25 people in it that were focused on you and listening to what you say, you would be thrilled, right? That's
Yes.
25 people in a room. That's a classroom full of people. If you had 10,000, that's what, an
That would be
auditorium?
overwhelming.
Yeah, right? You don't need that many. The 25 people that you're in a room with can ask you questions. You can interact with them. You can build meaningful relationships with them, get to know who they are, what they need, that kind of thing. You can't do that with thousands and thousands of followers. And I know everybody says, oh, more is better, more is better, more is better. More is not necessarily better.
No.
I keep going back to that in my head because I got caught up in the same thing when I started my Facebook group. I was like, oh, I got to get more people. I got to get more people. How can I get more people? Not thinking about, okay, I have like 600 or something. I don't know. But only about 100 of them actually ever see what I post in my group because those are the active people in the group. So why was I so focused on having more when they don't even hear me? It's so much more important. The quality is so much more important. You're going to have a much larger impact when you can really dig in with individual people and impact their lives directly. And then they go tell their friends, or they go tell people, or people say, hey, what's changed? Your whole personality's changed. You're happier, you're whatever it is, right? Somebody's going to notice that things are going better for you. And those people will then explain, oh, I got this coach over here and she taught me this and it's changed my whole life and you should go talk to her or whatever, right? That whole word of mouth. People have
Yes.
forgotten about the word of mouth
They make
kind of
jokes about it now.
advertising. Yeah.
On AT&T, they're like, what's word of mouth? Oh yeah, that's what they used to do back in the day. I'm like, hey, I'm
Right?
not that old. Jeez. Like,
No, but it's still the most effective marketing because the people that hear about you from word of mouth have already gotten a recommendation from someone they trust. It's just like if you were going to need a new doctor or a new dentist or a new hairstylist, what do? You ask your friends, hey, who do you go to? Who do you use? Who do you like? And you trust them.
Exactly. And a little thing about groups that's funny. I have a Pisces group that I built from the ground up, and I've had it since 2006 or something. And I
Okay.
had to shut it down, and it had 50,000 people in it. And
Wow.
it is sitting there because I went through my spiritual awakening and I loved my group. I was very close to a lot of people in there, but some trolls got in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did, but they started responding to me. And then when this whole riot thing started breaking out, I started having people sending me lovely messages of how I should go jump off a bridge and stuff. And I was like, cool, I am not playing with you trolls anymore. But I
Yeah.
didn't want to let go of my group because I was like 50,000 people.
That's a
it's
lot.
still a bitter pill. And I have it archived because I haven't, because it's got a lot of good stuff despite the bad people, but there for a while it is like only the bad people were showing up. So I'll tell you a little thing, numbers are numbers. And I've had people come over to my podcast, and the first thing you ask, and if you're watching, if the first thing you ask me is how many people listen to your show and how many people are on your social media, I'm more than likely not going to respond back to you because that just tells me that you're coming over here to get an appearance. And when I have guests on, that's what is so cool about my show. Every episode you watch, I have a unique conversation with every guest because it is
Yeah.
important. I want to bond with you. And I guess I'm a weirdo because I tell
No.
people, hey, I wanted you to come over, and so when I have people come over and all they do is talk about themselves, or they just clearly didn't even like see anything, like they're not a present in the conversation, they're just
Right.
on robot, because I know that, and I'm just like, you didn't watch any shows, why are you here with me? But authenticity is a big thing to me, and whether I have thousands of people listening, I know that I put out my podcast and I got a 3-paragraph review
Oh.
on how much that I help them and this and that. And
Oh.
you know what? That's where I tell you, everybody out there, who cares how many likes you have? And if I wanted to be on TV, I could be there tomorrow. PBS isn't hard to get on. There, you can get on a
Really? Wait
TV.
a minute.
You can get on a TV anytime, but they lure you, and that's the thing, is that energy of manipulation comes over. And when you come over with that with me, you could have the Pope following you, and I'd be like, you know what? Thank you for your time, but I don't really think you're going to fit on here.
No.
And then that makes those people mad because I'm the first person. They're like, how did this person with barely any following tell me no? And I'm like, yeah, think
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's the culture. It's so embedded. We're just constantly told, you got to do this. You got to be this way. This is the only way to be successful. And it's not. I mean, so in fact, in the book that I'm writing, I have this paragraph. It's like one of my favorite paragraphs in the whole thing I've written so far. But it talks about this group that I realized, okay, I'm in this group with this hugely successful woman. She makes, millions of dollars a year, whatever. But she's one person and her group has over 20,000 people in it. You know what that means? 20,000 people who aren't at that level yet.
Exactly.
I don't feel so alone anymore because I will never be at the, well, okay, I can't say I will never.
No.
That's
You have
not
8
one of my
seconds
goals.
to retract that
Yeah, I retract
sentence
that.
before the universe takes it.
I could be, but that's not my goal.
Here.
I don't need that.
Eventually, I will be
There you go.
successful and people will know about me, but that is not my goal, because my
That's
angels
right.
will put me out there, and the people that need to see you will see you. So it doesn't matter, because
Exactly.
popularity and fame, that Facebook group that 50,000 people, I tried to save it. So for 6 months I was tormented by going on
Oh,
there and talking, and then having people come back and tell me, what, you're crazy, you're losing your mind, we're not doing anything. So I was like in a battle with the narcissist. It was the
oh,
craziest thing. And I'm one of those people, I just tell my experiences, because everybody
yeah,
wants to hush and not. So, but I'm telling you, for all of you out there that are struggling with not feeling accepted or feeling like nobody likes me, who cares? You have to tell those people who care. And if you feel that way, come hang out with me, because I pick up all the misfits. I pick out all the people that feel unwanted, because you know what? Those people are actually a lot cooler to hang out with. I've hung
oh
out
yeah,
with millionaires. I've hung out with homeless people. Okay, I've met so many
yeah.
people in between. I've went door to door for selling stuff for 10 years. I have
Wow.
met so many different people of every walk of life, and I've always had a theme for my own life: is you either hate me or you love me. And if you hate me, you have to ask yourself why you hate me, because I have never done anything malicious. Usually people hate
Yeah,
me because I speak my mind, and I'm polite as possible about it, but I've never tried to sugarcoat it, because in the end, if I try to impress you and tell you something fake that I'm not I'm not
mm-mm.
holding the intention for,
Yeah,
we don't have a really good relationship anyways. And I have
yeah,
to watch my back now, because now you're that slithering
yeah.
snake around there. So don't invite these people. It's just like, think about it, we'll go back to the 80s. What is the movie with the vampires? um
Oh,
Lost Boys.
oh, there you
So
go. Okay, yeah,
don't invite the vampires in. Don't invite the energy vampires in. And you know what? If you don't feel good, it's always a. If this doesn't feel good, don't do it. If it feels kind of scary, but good, do that. And
yeah.
don't let people in, because no, you don't need anyone to validate you. And that's what I've learned on this trip. And I'm sure
Mhm.
you've learned that on your
Oh,
trip too.
totally. Yeah. I mean, and it's kind of funny because I live in Minnesota and there's this thing called Minnesota Nice. And I don't know if you've heard
Yes.
that term before, but that means that we are going to be polite till we could be bleeding from our ears and we're still going to be polite,
That's kind of like
about it,
Southern
right?
women.
Yeah,
They
and
do it with a
especially
smile.
women. Yeah, we are taught you must be nice, you must be nice, you must be nice. I'm like, you know what? You can be polite. You need to treat everyone with the respect they are due, just because they're a human and they're alive, right? Everybody gets that much respect. But beyond that, if they are not being respectful to you, back off, walk away. You do not have to let everyone into your life. Set those boundaries and stick with them that you're comfortable with. And that can be hard for, especially for women who are taught, oh, no, no, don't listen to your instincts, be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like, and especially online, I have to share this. I just have to share this because it's so irritating to me. I'm on Instagram and I get these men, mind you, my business is focused on women.
Hey.
I get these men who send me messages. Hi,
Don't accept
that's the
those.
whole message. That's it, right? And I'm like,
Don't
um,
answer the video call either.
I'm like,
That scares me. I will never answer. Don't video call me. If you video call me, this is me. Oh no.
I'm
Don't
like,
answer that, because I know what's on the other line. I already know.
what are you people thinking? This is not Tinder. This is Instagram. Go
In my
away.
in
Oh
my
my
group,
God.
when they first started going, when live was a thing, because it hasn't always been a thing in group.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And I didn't this feature just showed up, years back. And I had everybody in my group. I wasn't in there, I wasn't in there all the time, but people always contacted me if something was going on. And they're like, oh my God, did you see what happened? And I was like, what are you people talking about? Thankfully, they got it taken down. But this dude decided to give us all a show, and he was not cute. And
Oh.
he stroked it on my live.
Oh.
And that is where the whole,
Oh
now there's
no.
permissions and stuff.
Yeah.
That dude straight went up there and showed us all Mr. Happy. And I
Wow.
thankfully Thankfully,
Oh my
my
gosh.
angels did not let me see that because I would have lost my mind because I do not do that well at all.
No, that's terrible. What is wrong with
I
people?
don't know. So I love this whole conversation and I love that you're real because I'm not hating on anyone, by the way, and I don't want anyone to think that I am. I'm just letting you know that my mission is to uncover all of this boxed in view, and the coaching industry is growing so big and it's been a big thing. But you know what, the cool thing about it is that there's so many different niches that you can pick, so don't think that you have to be one person. And if you're not camera ready and feeling beautiful all the time, don't try to make yourself that way. I
No.
am not beautiful. I am beautiful inside, but I don't have the I'm not going to be on Victoria's Secrets anytime, and that's okay with me because
That's okay.
that is not what I'm supposed to be here for.
That's
So,
exactly right.
so I know that that is a big thing with ladies. Stop beating yourself up for what you look like because we're all supposed to look different. And I have met plenty of pretty girls, beautiful, drop dead, gorgeous girls that were so ugly because they had a nasty soul inside of them.
Yep.
So beauty's on the inside, and you'll always manifest in what you feel, and here's what you're going to manifest on the outside. So if you want to look pretty, go do things like make yourself feel good and be happy with yourself and stop beating yourself up.
Yeah.
We do that so much and it
Oh,
drives
yeah.
me crazy. And sorry, I
No,
could
no,
go on
that's
forever because the thing is that we all need to get together and help each other. And most of us are doing that. And I'm seeing a shift now, but there for a while, it drives me crazy because there's me and you out here that are we're like, yeah, whatever, you guys can go kick rocks with that. But then I meet my clients or I meet people that you don't know the effect that you're having on them. So if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
no.
And
Yep.
don't try to make people into your tribe that clearly aren't your tribe, because when you bring people like that, it's kind of like when the sorority girls bring the mousy girl that,
Yeah.
is clearly not their person. And it just, it
This
makes
doesn't
them
work.
feel bad. So
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so happy to have you as
Thank you.
a leader here to show women, hey, you can do it. I'll show you how.
Yeah.
What advice, we're going to wrap this up. What
Okay.
advice can you give out to the women out there that are maybe struggling or maybe just need a boost or maybe want to work with you?
Oh, well, the one of the things that I keep telling people and occasionally have to remind myself is, just keep going one step at a time. We've talked about it a little bit. You're not going to suddenly become famous. You're not going to suddenly have hundreds of clients, whatever. There's this quote about there's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs one step at a time. And as long as you keep moving forward and make sure you surround yourself, have at least 2 or 3 people that are supporting you emotionally, psychologically, people that you can either bounce ideas off of or go to and say, oh my gosh, I have been doing this marketing thing for 2 weeks and nothing's, that when you have a bad day, you can get together and have a cup of coffee virtually if you need to, whatever. You can't do it alone. You need to find your people, even if it's just 2 or 3 or a Facebook group or whatever. Find some support to help you through those tough times, because we all have them. Doesn't matter how successful you are. We all have those days where we're just discouraged. Something's not going the way we want. And we need to have those people who can lift us up and say, oh, I remember when you did this class and you said this one thing in this class that really helped me out. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, actually, I've started doing that I find very helpful. As you're going through your business, ask for feedback, ask for reviews, ask for testimonials, cut and paste them and keep them in a folder. So when you're having a tough day, you can go and read through that folder and see,
Smart
oh
idea.
yeah, that's right. I really did do that good thing. I really am having an impact. And just having that physical paper folder, I'm kind of old school, can be so much more impactful, I find, than just something electronically. But again, I'm kind of old, so
Yeah,
that's
me
why I
too.
like the paper.
That's all right because there's some things I have to have in paper and some things I don't. But I thank you so much for
Oh,
being here.
thank
You have
you.
such great advice, and also when you're looking for your people or someone to help support you, a little tidbit out there: don't make your family or your inner circle your first support group for your business. Now, they can
No,
support you later when you're not working, but when you're doing your business, try to find a professional group to lean on, because
yeah,
sometimes when your person is not doing the business with you, they don't understand the concept. So they're trying to truly help you, but they maybe are not, maybe they don't
yeah,
know how to assist you because they just want to help you feel better. So
exactly. Yeah,
I like to throw that out there. Don't put too much pressure on your inner circle, and or yourself if your inner circle doesn't support you, because it's not their job. Their job is
right.
to, just like if you were going to your 9 to 5 job, they can support you as much as they can, but in the end, they don't really know what to do because they're not going to that job.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. So come be in my Facebook group, and I will support you.
Yes. And I just want to put that out there because that's a really important thing, is that I've noticed just a few things with people, and I've noticed that is the biggest thing: is we need to find people like yourself that we can have that group and make a buddy, like a check-in
Yeah,
buddy. You got to
yeah.
have check-in buddies.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's a great idea.
So they can reach you at Facebook groups Women Coach Consultants, and you're also is there anywhere else that you would like? I have the links here.
Just yeah, my Facebook group, my website is a good place. I'm
DM.
also on Instagram and LinkedIn, so if you look up my name, you'll find me. Um,
Awesome.